You ever really want to go out and train, but you don't know what spot to go to, or you're just feeling kind of tired, you don't know what you want to train, and you just end up not going anywhere? Yeah, I know that feeling, I hate that feeling, and it happens more often than a lot of us like to admit. Today, we're going to be talking about some tools that I try to use to help me kind of break out of that paralysis and actually get to training. On days like that, you pretty much have two options. You can either not train, which that is a valid option. We're gonna get to that, but we're gonna get to it at the end of the video. Or you can go move. Literally, it's as simple as that. Just start moving. Obviously, this can be easier said than done, but in pretty much every circumstance where you want to train, that's what you have to do. You have to start moving. Duh. The issue that we run into a lot of the time is there's just a lot of different ways we can move. We can go to different spots, we can do low line training, we can do jump training, we can do flip training. The options are endless, and that's kind of one of the problems is we have so many options, we're just spoiled, right? All we have to do is pick something and go with it. The key here is not to actually think too much. If you start thinking too much, you're just gonna sit there and keep thinking. Just go do it. I'm gonna get into my top 5 lists for things that I like to do to just get out and start moving. When my brain starts taking over and I feel lazy, these are the things that I just go to, I pick one of them and I go and do it. Number 1 is just improvising as you go. For this one, I like to just pick the closest place to my house. Whatever the closest spot is, that's where I'm gonna go. The reason I say the closest spot to my house is because a lot of us think way too long about the spot we're gonna go to. All you have to do is just pick the closest spot. Go there, get moving. When you get to your spot, just start moving. Improvise as you go. Lazy vaults, rolls, kongs, basic vaults, these are your best friends. Just lazy vault a lot. Maybe throw on a backflip if you're feeling good. But the point is, don't stop moving. Keep moving until you're exhausted, until you can't move. This is gonna help kind of kickstart your brain and get your body really used to this idea that, hey, we're moving, we're outside, we're gonna start training now. And your brain will kind of start to wander as you take that initial break after your first like 30, 45 second line of just lazy vault, lazy vault, lazy vault. Your brain starts to think a bit more and you start to get a better idea of what you want to train that day, and then you can just branch off into whatever you want to do. Personally, I really like to use this technique as kind of a warm-up device. Now, obviously, some of us need longer warm-ups than others. If you need a warm-up, get yourself warmed up, or just keep it very low line and very low impact. Don't worry about doing big jumps, just move around a little bit, keep it fluid, keep it flowy, and don't think too much about what you're doing as long as you're not taking that impact. Number 2, we have repetitions. Pick a movement, pick a number, do the movement that many times. Don't think too long about what the movement is or what the number is. Just pick 25 kongs and start doing 25 kongs. Maybe you want to do 25 precisions, 10 precisions. It doesn't matter. The goal is pick a number, pick a movement, and do it. Our goal here is actually not to finish the number that you set out to do. So let's say you wanted to do 25 kong precisions, right? You don't have to finish 25. Remember, our goal is just to get yourself moving and get your mind thinking. That's it. If your mind starts to wander, if you get to 2 kong precisions and your mind's like, oh, I really want to go do that kong precision, go do it. That's your whole goal. You just want to get yourself training, and if your brain starts wandering to these other things, that's it telling you, hey, I don't actually want to do this thing, but thank you, you got me working. Now we're going to go do that. And just body follows along, now you're training, now your brain can bounce to whatever it wants and you're having a good training session. Sometimes you might also want to finish the reps, and that's completely fine too. You don't have to stop the reps, you don't have to finish. Remember, the goal here is moving, and as long as you're moving, you're winning. Coming in at number 3 is AddOn. Now this is one of my all-time personal favorite games. Doesn't matter if you're by yourself, with a friend, or even with a group of people. This is always a great game just to get you moving and get that creative juices flowing. For those of you that don't know about AddOn, it's a very simple game where it works in rounds. Round 1, you start with one move. So person 1 starts with a lazy vault, let's say. Then person 2 has to do a lazy vault and add a move on. So let's say person 2 does lazy vault to roll. Now we're back to person number 1. They have to do lazy vault, roll, and then add on. Get it? Pretty simple. Every time you do every move up until that point, and then you add a move. Obviously, you can continue this for as long as you like. I personally like to aim for about 15 moves, and then once I get that 15 move line, I like to go back and kind of micromanage every little piece. So if I did a lazy here where I'm like, I didn't really like that lazy, I like to kind of go back and replace certain moves with other moves, or maybe even change the lineup entirely. But by the end of that 15 move segment that I've made for myself, I have a really good idea of the line that I want to do, and then I can go back and create that line. As with everything on this list, feel free to stop playing at any time that you want to. You can always go back, you can always start a new game, you can always do some challenges and then come back to an existing game, but again, just keep moving. Number 4, we have fitness. Everybody's favorite thing, right? Obviously, I'm joking a little bit. Everybody hears fitness and they're like, oh man, that can't be fun. But that's just not the case. We do parkour, guys. You have fun working out. That's literally what parkour is. Adding in this fitness element to this list is just another thing that can be kind of brainless. Just go outside and do this. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes fitness is exactly what I wanna do, and for me, on rainy days, it's actually my favorite thing to do, because I can't really work on the techniques that I want to work on all the time when it's raining, but what I can do is I can just go get stronger, and it feels really good to kind of be out in the rain, gain that little bit of energy from the rain, and be like, all right, I'm moving now. So I've included in the blog one of my favorite kind of fitness sets that I like to do that involves stairs. It's confusing. Here's the outline of what I like to do. I like to go to a big staircase, I like to sprint up the staircase and then do a workout on the top. Sometimes it's push-ups, sometimes it's crunches, sit-ups, planks, what have you. But I like to sprint up, do a workout, jump down 2 stairs at a time, all the way to the bottom, do another workout. So if I did squats at the top, then I do push-ups at the bottom, then I sprint back up the stairs, another workout, then I bear crawl down the stairs. Once I'm at the bottom, that's when it resets, and I try to do that set 5-10 times, kind of whatever I'm feeling, right? And you guys can take that template, add to it whatever you want. You don't have to bear crawl if you don't want to, you don't have to jump. Instead of sprinting up, you can jump up the stairs, you can do lunge walks, whatever you want. The possibilities are actually endless, but staircases are your best friend, especially when it's raining outside and you want to get in some fitness. At number 5, the very last tip I have for you, that's gonna be go to one of your normal spots, find a challenge that you had in the past that you've completed, and make it a more difficult challenge. Most of us have these kind of standard spots that we always go to and train at, and at those spots we have a bunch of old challenges that we've already completed. Sometimes we use them as warm-ups, sometimes we just kind of hit them every now and then, put them in lines, what have you. But everybody has that spot, and everybody has those familiar challenges. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get to our spot, and we're just gonna start hammering out those challenges and coming up with ways to make it a little bit harder. Let's say you have a Kong Pre that you always do. Try adding a Webster in front of that Kong Pre, or try sending a Kong to step through. Try hitting the Kong Pre and then plyoing out. Kong Pre front out. Again, the possibilities are literally endless, but the idea is you just take a challenge that you're used to, that you can complete relatively regularly, and you add an extra little twist to it to make it a little harder and a little more exciting. As you kind of roll through this and you start adding more things on, that's when, for me, my brain gets working more and more, and it's like, well, wait a minute, if I can front to Kong Pre, then what can I do to get into that front flip? And then I kind of take it a step back, and I'm like, after the Kong Pre, what can I do next? And that's how I start to build this line that I'm like, wow, I've never actually done this line. And the way I built it was with an old challenge that I've done hundreds of times. Now I have something brand new, and now I have something to work off of for the rest of my training session. Hopefully some of these tips will help you guys to just kind of get out of that initial training paralysis and just get out there and start moving more. If it does, definitely let me know, but we're not done yet. We got to talk about that last kind of dreaded thing, which is taking the day off. Wait a minute, you mean don't go train? Aren't you trying to explain to these people how they can go train? I'm confused, I don't get it. This doesn't make sense to me. I train every day, I train hard, I gotta be the best. Alright, so I know a lot of you guys want to just train every day. A lot of people pride themselves in training hard every single day. I was one of them for a long time. For like 4 years, I trained hard every single day, never missed a day, and it didn't really bother me at all. My body felt good, my mental health felt good, everything felt great. I didn't feel like I had any injuries coming on, and for some of us, that can be perfectly healthy, and there can be nothing wrong with that. For others, it can actually be very detrimental to train every single day, whether that's physically or sometimes even mentally. Now, I can only talk about myself, and for me, I hit one of the lowest points in my training career when I was training every single day and trying to kind of keep up with that. I just got really depressed and feeling really down. And finally what I realized was, I'm just gonna take a break. I'm just not gonna train today. And I think that went on for like 2 or 3 days, and then immediately I was just like, wait, I wanna start moving. And once I got back to moving, I felt so much better. I just moved because I enjoyed moving. And that's super important, and I think a lot of people get stuck up in this idea of just training as much as they can, even when it's starting to burn you out. I promise you, once you take that time off, you're gonna come back stronger and more motivated than ever. Alright guys, that's all I got for you for today. If you stuck around to the end, hit that subscribe button. Feel free to drop a like and a comment if you liked it. If you didn't like it, let me know why you didn't like it. These are a work in progress. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sitting in my living room and I'm talking to a camera. I don't know if people want to hear this. Y'all follow me because you like my movement. What am I? I'm sitting in a chair. I don't know if you guys want to watch this. Let me know. I would much appreciate it. Alright guys, thanks a lot. I'll see you in the next one.